The U.S. policy towards Russia has always been hardline. U.S. policy toward post-Soviet Russia has never come close to the extreme accommodationism that many American hardliners proclaim these days. Washington did try to forge a partnership with Moscow, but those efforts were carefully circumscribed to avoid even the impression of a great power condominium. When American and Russian interests diverged, the United States did not hesitate to act. Even in the 1990s, the heyday of bilateral relations, Washington actively pursued NATO enlargement, intervention in Kosovo, and ballistic missile defenses in the face of Moscow's vehement objections. On the contrary, U.S. policy has been consistently non-accommodationist in Russia's immediate neighborhood, seeking to prevent a new Moscow-led regional juggernaut from reemerging after the Soviet collapse. The hardliners get the history of the last 30 years badly wrong, and this matters because they use this misreading of the past to push for an even more aggressive policy towards Russia than the one that the US has already had. This is a common move that hardliners make when there is a crisis or conflict, especially when it is at least partly the result of policies that the hardliners supported. When confrontational policies blow up in our face, hardliners come up with a story to explain how the real cause of the problem was that the US was too passive or too willing to compromise. The story is usually false, but it can be appealing to policymakers that want to avoid accountability for past errors. Whenever something goes so wrong that it can't be ignored, they will look to put the blame on the isolationism of Americans and our government's supposed appeasement of adversaries when there is no evidence of either one. Interventionists hate it when anyone tries to hold the US responsible for things that it has actually done in the world, but they will be the first in line to blame the US for failing to confront this or that threat. As far as they're concerned, America can do no wrong except when it is refraining from doing something. Hardliners always need to portray the status quo as too accommodating to adversaries in order to sell their extreme preferred policies, but in almost all cases the hardliners have been among those responsible for creating the worst aspects of the status quo. It is the old story of the arsonist causing the fire and then claiming to have the solution by setting more things on fire. The easiest way for hardliners to dodge accountability for their previous blunders is to invent a usable history that exonerates them and shifts the blame to imaginary accommodationists that never existed.